All right, let's see if I can keep this short this time. I'm sick right now. I've got a horrible sore throat. Um, but we're gonna do this anyways because I said I was gonna make it. And it is currently the day before I go to work. So let's see if we can push this out and keep this concise. See how short I can make this, whilst also getting the point across. 'Cause that's something I need to work on, trying to get my point across without, putting a bunch of fluff in here. So what's good, y'all? Sean, the enemy protagonist here, and today, the topic of discussion, aside from me being sick, is I want to talk a little bit about censorship today. Because man, over the past like week or two, Twitter just it's just a weird place sometimes for certain subjects. Which, I will say that gives people like me a chance to rant about things because, everybody else is ranting, so why not get my shit off too? But so I want to talk about censorship a little bit. Now, for those of you that, aren't aware, that aren't on Twitter all the time, first of all, I applaud you. Good on you for not downloading that app. We don't need it. You don't need it unless you want to be up in everything and be constantly in fear of society breaking down. That's what Twitter is full of. People that think that Twitter's gonna or the world's gonna evaporate tomorrow or something. Anyways, there are always a lot of topics that come up on Twitter, which makes it a good breeding ground for conversations. But today I want to talk about censorship, and so censorship is the scourge of the earth. It has been for a while, I think, and I think it's been a thing that I think folks have been worried about for the past like 5 years. Excuse me, especially seeing as though anime is like the big thing now. Anime has been like huge in the past like 5 years. Anime manga, it's been real popular, and with that comes all of its other things, the good and the bad, right? There are good things and bad things about anime. There's plenty of that, but we'll definitely have to talk about that another day. Today though, we're going to talk about a couple things regarding censorship. So when it comes down to censorship, typically that's somebody, whenever sometimes it's typically 9 times out of 10 it's when somebody else gets a hold of something and they have complete control over whether or not it's the same source material, or they tweak it to make it appeasing to other folks. And that's a big thing in video games too, now that I think about it. So anime and video games, because I think sometimes what's in the folks' heads that's like making it is to make it available to a broader audience, right? Like, say something's already, it's already made, right? There's like the first game or the first season, or like a manga is well established and stuff like that, and then they decide that video game or that manga should have some kind of way for more people to consume it. In video games, that's a sequel, and in anime terms, that is an adaptation, or its sequels, right? So with video games, sometimes what happens is either there's an entirely different team that comes in to develop the sequel, or there's the higher ups that want them to do something different, right? Mind you, this is the same game franchise, right? But they want people to change things they shouldn't change. With anime, it's kind of the same thing, but we have directors and producers and stuff like that to look at now. So when it comes down to that, they feel the need to kind of water some things down to make it more palatable so that more people will be willing to pick it up. Because the funny thing about it is even the producers of some of these anime know that some of these things can be a lot out there most of the times, with ideas. And there's a lot of different anime like that, of course. If you watch anime or if you read manga, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. So when it comes down to censorship, there can be a good thing and a bad thing, and I think we're getting the two mixed up. What I mean by that is there was a post. It's like over a week ago now, I'm pretty sure, that was talking about a specific series that was getting the adaptation had been out for like two years, right? It's been 2 years since the adaptation was out, and folks were kind of up in arms about a recent interview from the person that was directing it. And so it was this article right here. So if y'all, I don't know if y'all can read this or not. I'm probably zooming a little bit, but basically the issue, there was this post, right? There was one more before this, I'm pretty sure, but this one is this guy basically talking about bocchitherock, and the director basically had an interview with somebody, and or the screenwriter, whichever one. And basically they were talking about removing some original content. So whatever didn't make it to the anime, right? That's what they're talking about. Claims to remove some of the original content as noise. She also commented that she made efforts to avoid sexual exploitation of characters, suggesting that her ideology was being incorporated into the work. So basically whatever happened, some of the stuff didn't get ported over to the anime, right? And they go on to start talking about another manga author that committed the S word, blah blah blah, because of maybe some issue with that, because there were folks that were really up in arms about it at the time. And how I feel about it is, well, basically, before I even tell how I feel about it, I had come to the discovery that after, like, maybe a few hours after seeing this post, I learned that they were actually in talks with the author. Like, the author was okay with some of this stuff. Like, whatever changes were made, if y'all don't know, generally what happens, I only know, like, certain things, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes down to adaptations of any sort in anime, and it could be all encompassing, like any author that gets a book adapted into a movie, like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson or anything like that, typically I feel like they have to talk to the author about those things, and they're kind of like a proxy in that. They talk to the author, and if they have to make changes, then they have to make changes. For example, I know how folks feel about the Harry Potter author, but we're not here to talk about that today. But in Harry Potter, if anybody's watched Harry Potter, if you've read Harry Potter, you'll know that a lot of content that was in the books didn't make it to the movies, and that's clearly possibly because of runtime, naturally, which makes plenty of sense. So they expect it not to happen every now and then. It is what it is. It happens, and there are general reasons why that happens. Now, obviously, if there was like an incident where it was being censored, thanks to the whoever the director is, with and they kind of strong-armed the author into agreeing with them on censoring things, that's an entirely different conversation. Because I don't like censorship, right? obviously censorship in a lot of cases it's not a good idea. It's like, if you're gonna adapt it faithfully. I feel that to an extent. But on top of putting that aside for a second, on the other side of that is there's got to be communication. At the very least, if there's communication between the author and whoever's directing or producing the anime, there shouldn't be a big issue, especially not from fans. On top of that, had they not said that, they wouldn't have known that, because the anime came out 2 years ago. Bocchitherock came out 2 years ago. This interview, I think, happened maybe like a week or two ago, and everybody was up in arms about it, when there isn't really much we can do about it now, first of all. And second of all, it's something that they agreed on mutually. It's very crazy to me. I wish I could find the tweet. I probably can. But I just felt like if there is a consensus between two people that, yeah, this is what we're going to do, between the person that made the original work and the person that's adapting it, they come to terms and make something beautiful, there shouldn't be an issue. Yet there was an issue made for some reason. But anyways, alright, so I couldn't find the tweet on what I was looking for in regards to other people's takes on it. They might have been taken down at some point. But how I feel about it is basically that if the author and the director both come together and mutually agree on changes that need to be made in the manga, in the anime, then that shouldn't be a big issue. It would be more of an issue if there was a lot of stuff changed. Like, when it comes down to certain changes, like Dan is a really good example, where Science Saru, they change things tastefully. They do a really good job too. There's a lot of good examples too. Of there might not be that many good examples, because I think generally censorship is frowned upon. But I just felt like this was a thing that popped up at one point. I felt like kind of talking about it a little bit, because it was just like a thing that was a big issue apparently. And I feel like it wasn't really very it was very inconsequential in the end. And yeah, so I feel like folks are still gonna come back and watch season 2 of it anyways, even though there was all of this buzz for like maybe 2 days, if that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop talking now, because my voice is my throat is killing me right now. It really is. But yeah, I just wanted to get in and talk about this a little bit, and talk about the censorship thing. It happens, but if it's done in a way where it's a mutual understanding thing, then I feel like that's more acceptable, as opposed to like just trying to change everything about it just so it can be more palatable to, I don't know, a younger audience. We never really know until they get out and say something. Like whoever the director is, if they say something about it. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is there something that I said that maybe makes you think otherwise, or if you have a different take on it, let me know. Yeah, I'm obviously tuned in for Bocchitherock season 2. I love the first season. It was a masterpiece. Cloverworks, they always do great things. Except for the one we won't really talk about, Promised Neverland season 2, because it doesn't exist. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. I appreciate anybody who's had a chance to watch, like, leave a comment, sub to the channel. Hopefully I'll have another video up very soon. Hopefully I'll get over this little cold that I have. And yeah, and y'all should definitely follow me on Twitter at animelovershawn, where I talk about a bunch of anime stuff all the time. Maybe some other stuff sprinkled in there every now and then, but typically anime stuff. And yeah, again, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
You gotta do before you make it big. Just